In session one, we're going to be talking about what it means to change course. And we're going to begin to talk about one of the critical elements is how do we actually measure what winning looks like from a ministry standpoint. And I want to give you three elements that I think play a critical role. And one of the things I always ask congregations is, what's your impact? How are you changing people's lives? How are you changing the community? What's different as a result of your congregation living in its community? If people don't know about your congregation, haven't been transformed by it, obviously we have an impact problem. Same thing internally. Are people growing spiritually? Are they developing deeper connections? Are they discovering and discerning and developing their sense of call? How are we making an impact on people's lives? And what would that look like? And how would we actually measure that impact? The next key element is reach. I've worked with a lot of congregations that have chosen to reach out to people, and they sponsor a barbecue or something like that. And then I go to it, and it's 95% members with just maybe a handful of people in the community that are there. And so if we're only reaching the same people and offering programs and ways of engagement that connect with the people that are present and already active, I think we have a reach problem. So how do we grow that? How do we reach out to those God has called us to serve? How do we go deeper with those that are less engaged in our active ministries? What does engagement look like? And who are we seeking to reach in that process? Also, I want to invite you to think about, a lot of time we just look at sheer numbers, but then we need to take a look at, are we reaching young families? Are we reaching empty nesters? Are we reaching single adults? So we need to categorize how we're going to connect and who we want to reach. So we need to know who our target audience is, what their needs are, and what we have to offer. And then the last element I want to lift up is just simply relationships. Are we a congregation, a faith community that has a desire to deeply connect with one another? Can we accept them as is? Do we turn strangers into friends? Do we not only welcome people and serve people, but do we actually befriend them and get to know their life and faith stories in that process? And thriving congregations are congregations that are curious about one another, that they care about one another, but they know each other's life stories. So how do we create a faith community that's welcoming and befriending and caring and is willing to go deeper, to engage in authentic, genuine relationships where it's safe space and it's holy ground? But this is where people can experience God through their interactions with one another. So think about impact, reach, and relationships as measuring sticks for how we measure what matters.